Welcome to Mystics MMOs. I'm your host, Mystic Raven. Alright, so I have a couple things to do today in real life. So I actually knew that, so intentionally I kept a few of my yesterday's things I needed to do for this morning before reset. So, going to be doing some dailies from yesterday. And then what I'm going to do is talk about future changes with my channel. As most people know, I play a lot of MMOs. I have played a lot of MMOs. So, it's... Alright, we need a tank. I am leveling up a couple of things. But actually, I want to try to get my healer up there. So I think I'm going to focus on that. I think I'm going to, you know what? On that one, I will do this one for my leveling, because I'm going to get that boost for the seals. So we'll do that. I'll need those seals. But there's going to be a few changes. So I will, in the next couple of days, be changing the layout and format of my channel. It used to only reflect Elder Scrolls Online. I don't want it to reflect one specific game anymore in the future. Even though I may be playing one game specifically for a set period of time. For example, currently I am, behind and I'm playing Final Fantasy XIV. But I just, you never know what things are going to happen. So, you just never know. Alright. Okay, cool. So, also what's weird is I actually ended up getting a warning yesterday. Somebody flagged my account or said something I was obstructing somebody's gameplay. I actually sent an email back like, I didn't do nothing. I don't know what this is in regards to, but like I've been really careful not to, I guess, you know what I'm saying, be toxic or offending to other people, because I know there's very strict rules and regulations. So I've always wanted to be kind of a prominent person when it came to that. Once again, I want to make sure my rotation kind of sticks in so I can take advantage of recouping that magic, right? Because DKs are just so dependent on this magic, and a lot of people have a problem with managing that. But it's definitely, it's within the rotation, making sure everything just is sticking as much as possible between the AoEs and the single target rotation. I don't know who that is. Oh my god. Dude, seriously, please. Okay. So we're not gonna kill... Okay, whatever. You know. Dude, we'll get there. Okay. Either tonight or tomorrow, I'll also be going over my samurai configuration, layout, everything I've done since I've upgraded the samurai to level 70. I kind of think it's, you know, one of those important things that I will be starting to do. I'll be making separate videos on that and, you know, trying to get them, you know, more edited and things like that. There's an RP, that's kind of cool. Stop, 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 stop. Oh shit. This one's gonna hurt me. Good stuff. Yo, man, what's up? Yo, great Shadowbringer video, man. Loved it. Thank you, man. Thank you. Dude, you should absolutely do job setup videos. I think that's a great idea. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Not lazy when you normally get up 2:45. Nothing I can do if they're... I'm trying to help people, but see, this is what I'm saying. Like yesterday, seriously, this is what's crazy. So I get this notification in my email, like I obstructed somebody's gameplay. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like I stream majority of my stuff. Like 90% of my gameplay, it's streamed. And I'm like, I didn't obstruct anybody. I haven't even said anything negative. So it was a little scary to me. I sent an email back, and I'm like, what is going on here? You know, what did I do? Nothing. I don't think... I mean, the funny thing is, I think they do. Like, they give you a heads up. Like, somebody's reported it. I feel like that's what it was. Like, hey, somebody's reported you for doing this, for this incident. You aren't being penalized, and I didn't get penalized at all. So I think, you know, there's an auto system, and it lets you know, hey, you know. But they did state that everything's going to be under review. So honestly, you know, that's to me is the most important aspect, how all of that transpires. Because one thing as a player, like anybody can get mad and report you for anything in a game. You know what I'm saying? See this dude, and I'm not even getting my heals. What in the hell is up? Pull him to the top. The healer refused to heal me. What the f... Putting a principal down. This is like players who can be toxic. Wait, it is. I'm glad I get this on stream. I'm glad I get this. Let me check out the comments. So true, I got 2 more days of my vacation. It's back to 2:45. My wife always asks me why I don't sleep in when I get up at 6:30. I tell her 6:30 is sleeping in when you get up at 3 o'clock a.m. Right? So much easier to get up early if you keep your body used to a certain number of hours of sleep. There, thank you. That's what I was hoping for. I don't need to be in a group with that. I'm not down with that. And because of this, I will be reporting this person as well. Okay. So I reported them. It's an auto report. I'm saving my ass. So just in case they report me, I'm reporting them. If Square Enix is going to play like little games like that, I'm covering my ass. That's the way I'm going to do it. You know, I'm not going to play this like, oh, it was his fault. You know, rack him up. No. I'll cover my ass. Like, I died because he refused to heal me because he said, bring him here. He's like, okay, you die. It's like, literally, dude, you just broke the terms and agreement. You just literally let me die on purpose. So, I have no problem with any of this. Alright. So we're going to go back in on a level. Some people, man, it's just some people, and I'm cool with it. Like, I don't care. Like, if people want to kick me, that's fine. If they don't want to play, that's fine. It's no sweat off me. But don't let me die when I'm the one tanking your stuff. Please, don't do that. Same dungeon, different group. Okay. Just don't do that. It's not cool, man. You literally intentionally let a player die. You know, the DPS is trying to do their job. I'm trying to do my job. If I die, what happens? You can't go on. You need a tank for the boss fights. Even if you can get through the trash, you still need a tank. It's like, why are you doing this? Now it literally makes me wonder. Okay, make sure all my stuff's up. My food buff is up, but since I've already used it, I will reset it. Now, unfortunately, that did take a little bit of time off me, so I'm hoping I can get another in. Good DPS. Good DPS. Damn good DPS. Okay, good. I like that group a lot better. It was really good. Not saying anything negative against the other group. See, it just goes so much smoother, man. Oh my god. Not one of these. I get scared when healers let me drop that fast. Like, my mitigation's up, I shouldn't be dropping that fast. Now once again, I don't know what I'm dealing with. If I don't trust the healer, let me give you guys a rule of thumb in any game I've ever done. If I do not trust my healer, I don't pull big. Sometimes I'll test them, but sometimes that's backfired. And that's nobody's fault. Nobody's fault at all. It's just sometimes you want to see, you know, what you can do in a group, and sometimes what you can't. You know, and that's fine. Not every pug is going to be able to pull the same effects. But like this. Please do not do that. He's a good healer. I just don't trust anything. I do not trust something. If one mechanic goes bad and you're deciding to go ahead and throw DPS, it's bad. I'm just asking, please don't do that. Please do not do that. I don't want to sit here all day having to repeat a mechanic because you decided to DPS. mean, if you want to do that, that's fine. Just don't do it when I'm doing a boss fight or when I got aggro. Okay, it's just, you know, it's just common courtesy. Like, look at his magic pool. If he bottoms out at any time and I need a fucking heal, man, it's gonna rip me apart. Shouldn't be that far away from the boss on that stack, but as long as they get back, that's cool. Nice. Good DPS, good stuff. Okay, good shit. It's good. Like, this makes me nervous. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm getting, like, really nervous about the rules for this game. It's like, I understand, like, you don't want the toxic stuff. You don't. I get that. And I do. And I do. But sometimes it's just asking nicely. Like me saying, please do not let me drop below this. Okay, that's fine. If you want to do whatever, that's fine. But just don't let me do it. Now look. Don't. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull them up. There, I'll do it this time. This way this guy makes it whatever. Oh, where's my dark side? Why did my dark side drop? Why isn't? Why isn't my magic up? What? It says my dark side's invoked. Oh, my grit is gone. I was wondering. Good Brez. That's my fault. My fault. My fault. Take the blame. I'll take it. I'm like, what in the hell is going on? My friggin' grit wasn't hit up. I'm going to post the thing I saw on Reddit and Discord about healers DPS and why the community thinks it's on healers just healing. Cool. Excellent. That sounds good, man. Like, literally, I don't mind, and I'm going to say this, I don't mind healers DPSing. I don't care if they do. Just don't let me die. Okay? Don't waste your resource management, you know, on some stuff. I don't mind it. I don't care. I'm not telling them how to play. Just listen, I'm a tank. If I'm a tank, the last thing I want to see is my health dropping to a point where you can't heal me. Your timing, you got a cast time associated. You keep gambling that, and I die as a tank because you're DPSing. That to me is like, why did you do that? Like, that makes no sense to me. I don't care if you DPS, just don't let me die. I've got a lot on my plate, man, as a tank. Like, you see that last part? I messed up. My grit wasn't up. My dark side was disabled, and I got everybody killed. That one was on me, man. That was on me. So there's no excuse. You know, I take the blame for that, and that's fine. But I have a lot on me as a tank, and when I know a healer isn't healing me and let me drop to 40, 30%, as a tank, I'm concerned. I'm concerned now. I'm like, listen, I'm mitigating damage. I'm not even setting DPS. Like, I'm mitigating damage, and you still can't keep me up. It's like, oh, this is a big concern for me. It's just a concern. I don't care. You can DPS. That's fine. Do it. I don't mind at all. Like, I DPS on my healer. I do. But I don't do it over my healing. Like, I'll make sure my ground effects are laid down, like if I'm on my Scholar and things like that. But I got to throw my mitigation up. I got to keep my shields. I got to keep my ether up. So there's a lot of things that I got to do on that healer. Or if my Astrologian, I got to make sure my buff, like my deck is situated properly before I can afford to throw out any damage. So, like, just proper management from a, you know, a tank's perspective. Like right here, I'm in a DPS mode. Now, if I go back to tank, I'm going to throw that grit back up. And now I'm back in my mitigation stance. Or timing is everything in a tank's position. How to throw in mitigation, shield blocking. All of these things are apparent, right? Okay. I just used it because nobody else was, so make sure that grit's reapplied. Oh, wait a minute. I'll pass. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get another run in. I might be able to get a trial in, though. Now see, this is what grit really allows you to do. Once again, you're very dependent on that healer, man. When you have a good healer, though, doing his part, there's nothing you can't pull as a tank. As long as you're mitigating, you have you're holding aggro. There is nothing you can't pull with a good healer. If a healer's on point, I'm telling you, you guys can make crazy moves. And I feel like just some bad habits were brought into, like, the expectation of what healers are supposed to be doing. Well, first off, your title indicates, but you're not set DPS and you're expected to heal. No, you're a healer, you know, instead, and expecting the DPS. That makes no sense. Do not DPS. I'm pulling. Yep. Always a red mage. What I tell you guys, it's always a red mage. Oh, snap. shit. Actually, it should be at the last boss. Last few levels been rough. Okay. Oh, shit. Get me out of this. See, I can't. Alright. Nice, perfect timing. Nice, and I leveled up. Ah, nice. GG. See, and we got along, and I'm gonna give it up to the healer. You know, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I'm not a dick. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. You know, the only thing about it is, it's just I expect not to be. If I'm playing my role, just expect that. There's a few lot lizards and a couple of swamp donkeys, As far as what? Purple, what's up, dude? How you doing, brother? How you doing? Rat, what's up? I'm going down. There's a few lot lizards and a couple of swamp donkeys. And as far as what, Rat? You got me lost, brother. I'm like, okay, I know where a lot lizard is. My dad was a semi-driver. And swamp donkeys, but why am I going down and what? That makes no sense in that aspect, so I don't know. How you doing, Purple? Hey, by the way, a couple of good videos, man. I've been watching a couple of your live streams, man. GG, man. You look good. Basically, a great majority of the player base is telling healers who just heal are doing it wrong. Legit, only ESO in this game do that. It's so weird. Well, you know, and that healer adjusted. I'm going to post, yeah, I'm going to check that out too, that post. But no, it's okay to DPS. It's okay. You don't let the tank drop is all I'm saying. That's the only thing. You don't let your tank drop. If your tank drops, you got problems, man. Because now you're focused on what? You're teaching the healers bad habits, right? You're teaching the healers, hey, by the way, don't... level 65 on the DK. Oh my God, this is so weird, right? You're teaching them, hey, by the way, just ignore all of the principles to healing. Don't do it, you know. And it's like, no. Don't teach them that because they're on a cast, and I don't think other players understand that. I'm not saying don't do it. You have to do it within a reason. You have to understand the margin of error that it takes on a healer. I played so many games, so many years, and I'm like I said, I know if a healers have damage capability, and they're in between, it's fine. I'm not debating that at all. So I want people to understand that. But your primary function, your primary job is to heal. The tank is dependent on you. He's dependent on you. The DPS job is the DPS. If the DPS can't pull the mustard, that's nobody's fault but the DPS. That's not a healer's fault if something goes wrong in the DPS. If you ever look on a metrics, and I'm not going to download the metrics on this game. I'm not breaking terms and agreement or anything. Because just the way it is. But if you ever looked at a parser in a healer who attempts the DPS, even if they're throwing out a shitload of DPS, they're next to the last, with typically the tank being the last. The healer is literally thousands of damage behind. And the reason being, let's take a look at the stat sheet, is piety. Their piety is increased dramatically when you are put in your mind. It affects healing and attack magic potency. Okay, so your attacks are affected by mind, but guess what? Piety isn't, because you have a maximum magic power that's associated to your magic pool. To do what? To keep resources at a high so you can maintain your healing. So when piety is high, you have a higher form of resource management, right? But guess what that does to the DPS? When you put into one stat, because your healing gear is associated with vitality, piety, and mind, well, the thing that you aren't seeing in your healing gear is the primary source of magic DPS, which is intellect and critical value, right? So, because everything in the healing is a base effect. So if we don't have these stats associated to the damage modifier, what is really going on? How effective is our damage in comparison to our healing effects? Next to nil in comparison to the DPS. It's very low. It's very minute. So it's like, yes, you're contributing with DPS, but in comparison, it's insignificant. In comparison. So, yes, it's good to help with some damage, but just remember you are more effective as a healer because your stats are lended to that role. Okay? So I just wanted to clear that up. You know, it's just that simple. You know, and a lot of people are like, "Oh my God," you know, and it's like, I get it. I mean, I'm not trying to be whatever about it. It's just like these are facts. These you can't deny these things. You can't. I mean, go ahead and DPS and to help. I agree with that. I totally do. But when it comes to my damage modifier, I'm not. You know, there is one thing I need to change on this really quick. I don't like the AoE effect, the miasma. Because miasma 2 has an AoE. Right? And that's unfortunate because it's messing me up. That's that one. This is this one. I'm actually going to remove this macro altogether for the miasma because I don't like it. I don't want, as a healer, I don't want to be up in anything's face. I like the AoE effect. I'm not saying I don't, but I do not want to be anywhere, and I mean anywhere near that. Effect. Alright. And this ether flow is going to go off as well because I already have a trigger. Okay. Alright. And I'll hit 65 on this as well today. Now look, this is another thing I got to watch out. Like, there's skill, speed, vitality. I'm going to get rid of that. Why? Because I'm going to utilize what? A food that benefits my role. Piety and spell speed. Spell speed is contributing both to your healing as well as your damage. So that is a good thing. So, dude, I've been in this queue for an hour and I want coffee, but you know what happens as soon as I leave, right? Dude, why didn't you tell me? I would have gotten with you. Changes with the channel. Did those guys finally get back to you about the company Mystic? No. Okay, so, like, I don't know if you were there when I was going over the prospectus that one day, Mitch. What ended up happening, I did the prospectus. And I converted it into a PowerPoint presentation. So I took a traditional formatted prospectus and I drew it up and I wrote it up and I did all the calculations and the comparable markets and the trends. And I converted my data into more of a presentation to some very important individuals. And I had a meeting, and what ended up happening was the people I had the initial meeting with are not educated in this business. Let's just put it in that perspective. And because of that, I was like, whoa. And, you know, and I told another individual, I don't have the patience to educate grown men and women who don't at least do the research themselves. And when I'm presenting the data, are like my children are more educated than them when it came to that. And my kids don't even work or go to school with this, and that scares me. So I back off. And I backed off and I said, you know what? I'm done. Oh, I'm done already. Right from the get, because I don't have the patience. And I told you know, a colleague, I said I need like-minded individuals who understand the business, because no investor wants to deal with wishy-washy people, right? Because there's a lot of money on the line. And I know for me, I felt some of these individuals, that warrior is definitely going to be MT all day, every day. Now, this is what I do. Look, I know I have a little time, But look, I already got a cast associated. Okay, I gotta get these balls. Need a red one. Need a red one. Red one. Dark one. Heal. Okay, AoE heals. Now look, once I have enough time, I don't mind DPSing at all. But as soon as this comes in, I want to heal, man. That's my job. Okay, so look, I'm not saying don't heal. Okay, please don't get me wrong. Shit. Now look, once again, I'm DPSing, but I'm doing my job and I'm making sure my resources are manageable, okay? Another thing I want to do is also get my primary tank shielded. So I'm keeping my dots up. I'm keeping my, any type of damage I can do done. I'm keeping my shield rotation up. Okay, yeah, we gotta do this. I forgot. Tanks have to go ahead and get these rocks. It's very important. I do not want to be in this. Bingo. Perfect. Flawless victory. Nobody dies. This is how you heal. Okay? This is how you heal. You can deal damage. You can. It's fine. I'm not saying don't. And I'm not saying I'm a better healer than anybody. For God's sakes, please don't, don't misunderstand me. But you have to understand your role. When you're playing your role effectively, you're making it easier for the party to accomplish that. Right? You're making it easier. You're making it a lot easier and more effective for the players that are trying to DPS, for the tanks who are tanking. And for you to play as a healer, what you're allowing them to do is do their job. It's a team effort, right? It's not about, say, pew, pew, pew as a healer. No, it's not about that. I have yet to play an MMO where people complain about being healed, right? It just doesn't happen. Sure, people are going to complain about the DPS if the DPS is lacking, but typically that has to do with each individual or the makeup of the group or something along that lines, and DPS definitely never wants to take the blame if something goes wrong, right? Because there's more players playing DPS, but DPS skips mechanics a lot and things can happen because they don't take it upon themselves to do it. They just, avoid AoEs and try to do as much damage as possible. But that's not how the fundamentals work and the structure works in an MMO. It's just not the way it happens. So once again, I'm not disassociating or saying don't damage as a healer. Play your role first and then play the damage effect second. By doing this, you are helping the DPS with a little extra damage, but you're still playing effectively, and you're going to cause less turnovers, right? Because listen, if DPS drops, what's better? You staying alive and letting a DPS die, right? Or you let the DPS live and nobody dies, but you're dealing less damage. DPS deals more damage than you. So if DPS dies, no amount of damage you're going to do is going to make up for that loss of the damage in the party. Because that's their role. The stats are set to them. They're more effective being alive and playing their position. Now, you can't control people dying to mechanics, so don't get me wrong. But if somebody dies because you're not doing your job as a healer, well, who can you blame? You have to blame yourself. And at times you have to learn those things. You have to be able to say, okay, hey man, if these guys die, because I'm using a cast, I just dropped my asthma too, which was an instant. Why? Because it's a limited range. I don't want to be up in the threat of stuff. I'm a DP. I'm a healer. I want to sit in the back, right? So, and this has a 2.39 cast. Even with spell speed, I might be able to bring this down, right? But it's still a cast associated. So I have to use my shielding system to mitigate the upfront damage that allows me to apply the effect. Just that simple. It's just that simple. And I'm not trying to act like a know-it-all. I'm just giving you guys my expertise and my experience that hopefully it can help other people. That's all I'm trying to do. Okay? Do you white mage mystic? Yeah. I have a 62 white mage. I have a 62 white mage, a 65 scholar, and a 60 astrologian? I want to say 60, almost 61 on my AST. Yeah. I have quite a bit. I have a plethora of jobs unlocked. I started out in this game as a conjurer. So I actually started out as a conjurer. I didn't start off as a warrior. It was Mars who was telling me how he liked warrior, and so I decided to, take his advice. Say, hey, you know what? Mars knows this game, so I should definitely try warrior. So yeah, I took his advice and that, and I fell in love with the warrior. There's a lot of things about it, but you know, it's interesting, man. Nevertheless, but yeah, I got to get going. I got a couple of things to do in real life. I'm actually glad I just got that. I will be back on later, but just important things. Listen, man. It's when it comes down to it, just stick to the fundamentals. When you learn your timing down in any role, you'll be able to, be able to, like I tell my kid, my daughter is driving and she always wants to do like a one hand on top like me. And I'm like, no, 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 no. Put both hands on the wheel. She's like, but you, and I'm like, listen, I've learned that way because I used to have to drive stick. You're in an automatic. If you have, if both hands aren't on the wheel, you fail your test. You're not at this point where you should be. You have to learn how to control the vehicle before you can anticipate being able to use a one hand. When do you put both hands on the wheel? When do you drop? When do you drop a hand? These are relative, right? And until you're comfortable controlling the vehicle with two hands, why would you want to try to control it with one? That makes no sense. So stick to the basics. Let's stick to the basics. We'll get to the advanced techniques later, right? But if you stick to the basics, you'll never go wrong. But if you try to skip to the advanced without learning the basics, there's a problem. You skipped a couple lessons along the way. Mars is a warrior in real life. Yeah, Mars is badass. If I do end up healing, I think I'll be a white mage. White mages are really good. They have really powerful direct heals. So each of them are slightly different. Like white mage is like considered like one of the main healers that are utilized in endgame because of its healing is really powerful. But the scholar here, it deals a little bit more dot damage, obviously, and it has EOS, or you can use a secondary pet, right? Celine, and she's support. So if you have a white mage, you can afford to run Celine, right? And she has support abilities. Which is really nice. Celine doesn't get used a lot in 4-mans for obvious reasons because EOS is just a lot more powerful in the 4-man. But Celine can do the job either way, especially if the scholar is familiar with his healing. Healing on a scholar is more limiting with direct heals in comparison to the white mage, but its mitigation system, how it preemptively mitigates, is a lot more effective than white mage. So having the ability to shield and bubble is really good in party situations as well as 4-mans. Astrologian is a buffer, a support healer. He can utilize both effects, not as strong as the scholar or the white mage. However, he can use the combination of both to be just as effective, and then increases the party's capability through the tarot cards. So that's what makes the Astrologian a very crucial healer in pre-made endgame, because they're amplifying effects as you're going through it. Now, I feel all three have their strong suits, and they also have weak points, which is a good thing. So one isn't necessarily preferred over the other, and if they're done well in a group setting, the party can benefit from all three effectively. So I really do like that. I feel this game did a very good job making sure that this was implemented. Now, if we see that we're going to be getting the dancer during the Shadowbringers release, it'll be interesting to see how the dancer abilities are incorporated into the current you know, against or with or against the other healers. What's its attributes? How's it, you know, healing? What's the effectiveness? What's its weak points, man? So I'm really looking forward to that, to see what's going to happen with the dancer. If we get the dancer. I'm not saying we will, but I'm just speculating, you know, hey, if we get it. But there's a lot of things. I feel like I said, I'm not saying don't DPS. I'm going to wrap this up. I'm not saying don't DPS as a healer. Just don't let the tank drop at a certain point. You notice that I didn't let my tank drop because when he got a shield break, here's the thing. If I let my tank drop, let's say by 20%, right? All of a sudden, the boss hits him with a shield break. That potentially could take him down to 10% of his remaining life. If I get any hemmed up, or if I'm casting inability during that time, he's dead. He's dead to rights. No matter how much magic I have. I could have a full pull, but if I let him drop, right, by at least 30%, say he's at 70%, he gets a shield break, he's got 10% left, 10 to 15 depending, and I miss that heal because I'm casting an attack, he's dead. He's dead. And who does that fall back on? The tank? No, that falls back on me. Because I decided to throw a damaging effect when I should have been healing my tank. Okay? So, just a heads up, man. Alright. Once again, I'm going to let you guys go. I want to thank you guys for watching. Once again, I'm Mr. Craven. This is Mystics MMOs. Thank you, Purple. Thank you, Mitch. Thank you, Kale. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, all of you, for stopping in. As always, have a nice day.